Yeah, it started. So now in our earlier class, we discussed the broad area that was hiring internally. So we understood the meaning of internal recruitment. That is, we understood the meaning and the definition of internal recruitment. Then we even understood the advantages and disadvantages in terms of cost, in terms of time, in terms of quality, and suitability. Then, very important students, we understood the various sources of internal recruitment. Let me make my screen wider. Okay. So we understood the various sources of internal recruitment like circulars, then employee referrals, promotion, then intranet advertisements, then appointment, transfer, and job posting. So once again, I'll be doing a quick review of the concepts what I explained in the previous class. Then I will go to the next topic. Okay. So first one, circulars. What we are discussing now, students, we are discussing the sources of internal recruitment. So what do you mean by internal recruitment? That means internal recruitment is defined as the practice of filling vacancies within the organization from within the existing pool of candidates. So, what do you mean by circulars then? See, vacancies can be filled internally by the use of internal circulars. So, internal circulars are confined to the employees working in a particular department or open to all the employees of the unit as per the conditions of eligibility. So then we even understood employee referrals, which is again one of the important source of internal recruitment. So what do you understand by employee referrals? So using of personal contacts to fill a job opportunity is known as employee referral. So it is a reference from an existing employee. Very important, students. It is a reference from an existing employee regarding a candidate. So it can be a friend or a close relative. So we even understood the various advantages and disadvantages of employee referrals. Then we understood again one more source of internal recruitment that was called as promotion. So what do you understand by the term called as promotion? So promotion is a term which is very commonly used in every organization. So when a person moves to a higher position because of his or her good performance, this movement from a lower to a higher level position is called as promotion. So promotion basically occurs when the internal employees are entitled to a higher post in the same organization and are selected for the same. So besides that, a company can also hire candidates externally for the vacancies available within the organization. See, all this, what we are studying now, these are the various sources of internal recruitment. Then the fourth one also we have discussed in the earlier class, that was called as intranet advertisements. As I mentioned to you, in the modern business scenario, so all the companies or all the employees within the organization should adapt quickly to the ever changing marketplace. So intranet means what? Within the organization. So if there is any vacancy, what happens? Advertising vacancies, organization can advertise the current vacancies in job section of its intranet. And depending on the nature of the vacancy and the recruitment policy for the job, it may also make this available publicly. I showed you on that day, right? So suppose if I want, once again for the students, I'm showing you. So how directly you can go to, say for example, Cipla careers. This is on the internet. I'm telling you, this what I'm saying is not intranet, it is internet. See, directly I can land up in their career page. Any company for that sake, in their company's website, they have a page that is called as recruitment or careers. So if you go there, careers at Cipla, you can see. So employee stories just to motivate the fresh or the people who are applying for CIPLA. So for them, it will give a glimpse of the organization culture. See, you can see the CIPLA culture. So this will motivate few freshers or students who are in final year to apply for this company. Like that, you can go for any company, MRF Careers. See, MRF Careers. So this is where first level is what within the organization they will find, that is intranet advertisements. Then after that, what they'll do, they'll publish this information through their company's website, and that will reach globally, right? That will reach to general public. See here, resume builder in MRF. Do you want to be a part of the #1 tire makers dream team? If yes, fill the form and send it to us. See, they have given their educational qualification, then position applied for. So you need to select the position which you have applied. See, it starts from all these positions which you feel that you are capable of, like human resources, it is there. You can see my browser, okay? Then preferred location. So while applying for this, you should be knowing where exactly MRF is located, in which part of India, right? So if you have any work experience, you can mention there. Then you have to upload your resume. Students, my suggestion to you is, when you come to 4th semester, so for your dream companies, at least you should be having some dream companies, right? So from 4th semester onwards, you start applying for this, directly going to their company's website. So careers, suppose, so can anyone tell me their dream company in which they want to work? Any company which you feel that, sir, after my MBA, I want to work in this organization as a HR manager or a recruitment manager or a HR specialist. Any company which is there in your mind, students? Any one of you? Or no company? Anybody? Ashwini Medgood.
Hello, sir.
Good morning, Ashwini. Any
Good
company
morning, sir.
you want to land up after your MBA, or you want to start company of your own?
Sir, TCS.
Okay, so Ashwini, TCS. Okay. So see, Ashwini, can you see my slide, Ashwini?
Yes, sir.
Okay. See, freshers hiring, TCS Careers. So my suggestion to all the students, those who are seeing this, when you come to 4th semester, start applying for at least 100 companies every day, 10 companies, directly going to their company's website, career page, and start applying for your dream company, so that at least you will be called for an interview in at least some, say, 5 companies. Because since you are a fresher, normally they will be looking for either experienced or skill based, right? So who knows, if they call for 5 companies, you might be selected for one of your dream company, right? So first, to do that, you should first discover, so what is your strength. So what is your strength? That means in which area you want to start your career. So basically you need to do a SWOT analysis of yourself, and then after that you have to decide the company where you want to land. Then start applying from 4th semester onwards. Then obviously you will be getting a communication from the company. If the requirement matches with your profile, then only the HR from that particular company will call you. So obviously when it matches, there'll be a small interview which will be done, and you will be through. There's nothing called as rocket engineering here, okay? So why I went to this particular part, I was just explaining you. So first thing is, the company will be putting the requirement in through the intranet advertisements. Then after that, so what they'll do, they'll release that particular requirement publicly. So through internet, okay, so that any outsider as a fresher, he can apply for a particular job which is listed in their website. Then after that, the fifth one, that is called as appointment. Now, what do you mean by appointment? When some decision is taken regarding the selection of a candidate, it should be communicated to the successful candidate with the help of offer of employment before informing to those who are not successful, right? So if the individual who is selected does not accept the offer, the other most suitable, that is the left out candidates, the immediate left out candidates can be contacted for the job position. So offer of employment can be made official with the help of letter of appointment. Then we have transfer. We even know about transfer. Transfer means what? Transfer means the movement of an employee from either one department to other, or from one location to the other, or from one branch to another branch. So transfers may be given by the company or may be asked by the employees themselves, depending upon the situation. It is very common policy that is being followed by all the companies. Sometimes the transfer takes place with no change in the pay scale or position, and sometimes it may prove out to be financially beneficial to the employee. Next, we'll understand job posting. The last one is concerned job posting. So what do you mean by job posting? It's an in-house method of recruitment in which notices of vacant jobs are posted at important places of the organization, such as employee lounges, cafeterias, elevators, etc. And employees are provided with a large amount of time to apply for the available jobs. See, a job posting system gives each employee an opportunity to move to a better job within the organization. See, job posting and bidding systems can be ineffective if handled improperly. So once a job is posted internally, the organization must allow a reasonable period of time for existing employees to check notices of available jobs before it considers external applicants. When employees' bids are turned down, they should have discussions with their supervisors, or sometimes in the human resource manager area, regarding the knowledge, skills, and abilities, that is KSS, they need in order to improve their opportunities in the future. So till here, we had discussed in detail in the last class, right? So by this time, we should be understanding at least the various sources of internal recruitment, their pros and cons. Remember, students, every source or each source what we have discussed here, it will be having its own pros and cons. So you as a HR manager should decide which source to be used. It depends on the scenario, right, in the organization. It depends on your recruiting budget, what you will be preparing. Now, after understanding the various source of internal recruitment or hiring internally, now we will understand a very important topic, that is policy guidelines and union settlements. So a trade union or employee union is an organization that employees can join in order to have their interest and goals better represented. A worker will pay an annual subscription and in return will have their interest more powerfully represented than if they had to negotiate with employers on their own. So trade unions are now considered a subsystem which seeks to serve the specific subgroups' interest, and also considered itself the part of the organization in terms of latest viability and contribution to the growth of the community of which it is a part. Therefore, there are trade unions of blue collar workers, then white collar employees, and also employers also. So it is unlawful for a prospective employer to refuse to employ a person either because that person is or in not a member of a trade union, or because he has refused to accept a requirement to become or remain a member of a particular union or of any union. And even it is also unlawful to require a job applicant to accept a deduction from his or her pay or to demand a payment from any such person as an alternative to trade union membership, right? So employers refusing to employ someone, please understand students, employers refusing to employ someone or treating them unfairly because of trade union membership or participation in trade union activities, or conversely, because they refuse to join a trade union activities will be liable for discrimination. See, some of the activities what I'll be mentioning now, okay, by an employer may be discriminatory. Like if employer refuses or deliberately omits to deal with application or inquiry, so makes an offer of employment of the kind the person is seeking, but withdraws it or causes him not to accept it. Okay. Now, after understanding this, we'll understand a very important concept. Before going to features of closed agreement, we'll understand the influence of trade unions on recruitment, students. See, they're very powerful. These trade unions are concerned, they're very, very powerful. See, trade unions play an important role in recruitment. Unions want to be a part of the recruitment process to make sure the process is carried out fairly. Correct? They may also seek participation in recruitment process to make sure there is no irregularity. They can affect the choices about recruitment practices and the extent of use of specific recruitment and selection methods. The particular sources used for recruitment are of interest. Like example as of the selection criteria that may go into for recruitment drive. So unions' pressure to restrict entry to jobs is widely recognized and has been often been the subject of critical review. Right? So there are such pressures occur informally and can pervade organizational life. So basically, an agreement of employer with employee unions will be there, an agreement. Sometimes unions seek to persuade managers of organizations to enter into agreements stipulating that only union members will be employed by the enterprise concerned. This concept, please understand this concept, students. It is called closed shops. Okay, so what do you mean by closed shops? Closed shops system have been established as a result of union appeals to mutual employer and employee interest. So what happens here? Unions seek to persuade the managers of the organizations to create into agreements stipulating that only union members will be employed by the enterprise or the organization concerned. A closed shop agreement requires all employees covered by the agreement to be members of the union. See, closed mean what? Within the union, right? So it is closed. It's called closed shop agreement. So no union which is party to a closed shop agreement may refuse membership to an employee or expel an employee unless this is done in accordance with the union's constitution and the reason for the refusal or expulsion is fair. So in a situation where employees who are not members of a registered union are benefiting from the activities of that union, the union may conclude an agency shop agreement with the employer. So this means that the employer agrees to deduct an agency fee from the wages of such employees to help pay the cost the union incurs when bargaining on behalf of non-members. So you understood the meaning of closed shop agreement, students. I'll be telling you one more time why it is called as closed shop. Unions, they seek to persuade the managers of the organization to enter into agreements. So what are these agreements? Stipulating that only union members will be employed by the enterprise concerned. So closed shop system have been established as a result of union appeal to mutual employer and employee interest. So a closed shop agreement requires all the employees covered by the agreement to be the members of the union. Right? So after understanding the meaning of closed shop agreement, now we'll understand some of the important features of closed shop agreement. The first one, what I've listed there, is identified class. Now please understand, the agreement must state as precisely as possible the grades intended to be covered. If in doubt, the area should be specified more narrowly because it is defined widely and the area of actual membership is shown to be the narrower, the agreement may be ineffective for some purpose. The agreement can also be expressed so as to extend to persons other than employee. For example, it could include the employees of contractors who work in the plant. Then the second feature of this closed shop agreement is exemptions. It requires that certain people must be exempted, but the agreement may widen or add these groups either by general definition or by specific reference. If complete exemption is not thought advisable for the optional groups, consideration should be given to allowing all or some of the employees the choice of paying a sum equivalent to the union subscription to an agreed charity instead. Then the third feature of a closed agreement is obligation. Right? See, the agreement should state that it is a requirement for all the members covered by the agreement to join certain unions, and even should specify which those unions are. The employer may also agree to make it a term of the contract of employment that a new employee will be required to join one of the relevant unions within a certain number of weeks of being employed. But the closed shop is effective even without such a term. Then policing the agreement, that is the fourth feature of a closed shop agreement. See, the agreement should establish procedures for ensuring that the closed shop is complied with, because if it can be shown that a number of employees who should not, the agreement should establish procedures for ensuring that the closed shop is complied with, because if it can be shown that a number of employees who should be members are not, the agreement does not protect the employer from actions for unfair. And finally, the last feature would be changing and ending the agreement. That is, the agreement should specify how long it is intended to last and the procedure for amending it in the meantime. So these are some of the important features of closed shop agreement. Then there are few requirements for a binding closed shop agreement also. So what are they? A closed shop agreement must comply with what I will be mentioning now, some of the important points. The trade union must be registered and enjoy the support of the majority of employees employed at the workplace. Then, the agreement must be in writing. That is very important. So the agreement may not require applicants for work to be union members before their employment commences. Then membership fees may not be used to fund a political party, very important, students, or candidate, and must be used to advance employees' social economic interest. Okay, so these are some of the important features of closed shop agreement. So is a very small unit students. That the topic is hiring internally. So in this particular unit, again, we understood the meaning of internal recruitment and the advantages and disadvantages in terms of cost, time, quality, and suitability. So any doubts still here, please be frank to ask me. Or any doubt in your